do you, having gone through that process, how do you really feel about the actual inquiry? Specifically, do you feel that it actually got in the way of what justice means to you? Did it delay prosecutions? Is it worthwhile having inquiries? Is it actually something that is useful? And what do you get at the end of it, which are recommendations, and whether those recommendations actually make a difference? So I'd really like to hear from you, so that the Sub Postmasters can maybe hear what your experience was of going through an inquiry day by day by day. Hamid Jafari, who also lost his father in the fire.
Yeah, I would like to elaborate on this. I think this is what we can see is now close to 7 years, and still we are fighting. So that means inquiry, for me, I don't know, it's kind of like waste of time. That if that was a justice, I wouldn't be here right now. I would have healed, I would have recovered, I started my own life back from the zero. So it's been 6, 7 years, we still keep fighting. Shahrukh, I need to elaborate on this question, you know, like Kingspan, they were doing a business. While they were in an inquiry, it's still happening. They were doing business, multi-millions pounds with Formula Ones. And also in phase 1, we chased for the firefighters. Recommendation came up, but no one had done anything. So we have to fight for every single thing. So my question, I don't know, I think the government need to change their system, their culture. My question to the government, if that was someone's celebrity, a royal family, any rich person, any famous person died in a Grenfell, would they be same like us, 6 years fighting for justice? I don't think so. It would have been done so much quicker, and they would have waited like 6 years. They're still fighting for them. So I think they need to change. I think inquiry for me kind of a waste of time, waste of money. I don't know. I just be like once or twice in inquiry. So for me, no worth it.
Can I just ask why you think they then have inquiries? Why do you think the British love inquiries so much?
I don't know, it's just kind of like a delay. I don't know, so people can get away. I don't know. That's what all these cooperative, you know, they comes, I don't know, with lies. What you can see, I don't know, they give them a chance to hide something, I don't know.
Did you know that the inquiry for Grenfell was announced the morning after the fire, so on the 15th of June 2017? Do you remember where you were on the 15th of June 2017?
I was in West Wales, sleeping on the floor.
Looking for your father?
Looking for my father. I had no clue what I need to do.
So did you know that an inquiry was announced immediately after the fire?
Not really, no.
And did you know what an inquiry meant or what the consequences of it would be? Did anyone even ask you, would you like an inquiry?
No.
Can I just ask, did anybody else, did you all not know that that was announced the morning after? So the impact of inquiries, hearing this every day, and it's on the news, and every day there's something new about it, how does that impact individuals like yourselves who are living with loss and trauma that is constantly there in the background? Does it stop your traumatic growth, or does it give you any kind of comfort to know that someone's looking at these issues?
I think it gradually increases our pain and suffering. Like listening to the inquiry, people are lying, people are dying, people doesn't care. And they just come up in front of the media and just say whatever they want to say. And then all I can hear from them, like, I can't remember what happened that night. So I feel like, you know, this gives you more pain than rather than I don't to heal.
Are you aware of how much the Grenfell inquiries actually cost?
Roughly, I don't know, millions of pounds.
So I think it's over £168 million so far up until March 2022. I know that the justice is not about money, but does it actually fill you with contempt to see how your problem still stays a problem, but the system continues to kind of feed itself off of that? Does anyone feel strongly about that?
Yeah. I think the inquiries are kind of like an economical system of their own. It's funny, in the case of Grenfell, it's the government's bad doing, RBKC and certain companies, and then the kind of people bringing it to court is also the government, and then all these people, these solicitors and things are getting paid off by these taxpayers' money. It's a great economy. It's produced a lot of jobs. Millions have been spent on solicitors and things.
Thank you.
Sorry. I think literally about 60 million or something was spent on the phase 1 inquiry, and when finally something did come out of it, such as the personal evacuation plan, which we as kind of bereaved families had to sit through traumatic sessions, relive second by seconds of trauma, go home and live your life again and then attempt it again. And then when finally something did come out of it, such as the personal evacuation plan, which was very close to my heart because that directly affected my mum and is why she died, the government didn't take it on, they didn't do anything about it. So what was the absolute point? And I believe that inquiries are a tool for the government to prolong things, to let people die, let people cool down, let other traumas in the world take over and kind of take yours out of limelight, which is what's happening now. It's always, what's the next big thing? And people forget. Nobody cares about Grenfell, and in a couple of months, I'm afraid nobody's care about the post office scandal. It's just is what's fashionable in media at that moment, and it's just a tool. It's just a tool, and it benefits them because it's a little ecosystem when the money's back to them. And as we said, we have to fight over our allowance for even small things such as therapy, and I think that would be the same for the postmasters. And they get millions getting turned between their businesses. It's all that. It's all a whitewash, to be honest. Nothing comes out of it. It should have gone straight into a police investigation, because now our investigation, the actual investigations that could lead to prosecutions, if ever, are being paused because of public inquiry. That gives them a long time for those people to still continue getting their pensions, their money, and set up offshore, and then never have any involvement and any prosecutions, any wrongdoing, and somebody somewhere will pay a small fine. Meanwhile, they've benefited so much in the process.
Were you like this before? I mean, I find it hard to imagine what it must be like to suddenly find yourself in the middle of all these very complex systems. And I wonder whether, has it made you more cynical and more...
I've lost trust in any government system, in politics, in the voting system, in everything. I think everything is set up, everything's fully controlled, everything. We don't have a say. We're just, they killed our families, and now they're using us, kind of keeping us busy while they slowly, brush it under the carpet. I wasn't like this before, but you come to realize that that's the reality of it.
In the Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, there's a moment when the Mr. Bates character says, "We are just the skint little people up against a very powerful system with deep pockets." Is that how you feel at this point, like the Sub Postmasters' frustrations? And would you say the same?
Absolutely. There's one thing I would like to reiterate on this inquiry. If I could use the analogy, when it comes to delivering justice, having an inquiry immediately after a disaster like Grenfell is like having an autopsy on a patient that is still alive. That process would kill the patient. So 6.5 years, I think our cause is almost lost. It's killed the process of justice, actually, because by the time span that you have to face, everything's forgotten. It loses the whole process loses its importance in the media, and then it's gone. It's just like, I think inquiries is not a good option immediately after a disaster or scandals. We should have a system that is prosecuting the perpetrators of the crime first, and then alongside we could have inquiry people digging up what went wrong.
And has anyone ever even asked you these things before? Have you been able to say what you feel about the decisions that are being made? Or do you feel that as the immediate family members of those souls who are on the picture behind you, decisions are made without you really even having a say or being able to, present your point of view? Do you feel like you've been silenced to some extent?
Not only we were not asked, the sequence of events was quite often in contradiction of what we thought was necessary at the time. We also are kept in the dark. We don't know what is often, what is going to happen. What are the information behind the scenes? Which I think, the transparency of the procedure and information available is a problem in itself, because they keep it hush hush, so you don't know what is going on. And to this day, all we had when the inquiry started was, X amount of millions of documents that had to be read by the police and investigators. And the number of millions kept going up and up and up, from 45 million to 70 million, and suddenly I think the last count it was 140 something million documents. So that is, what's that going to do? That's going to, shut everyone up because they said, oh, there's an ongoing inquiry going on and we cannot talk about it. So, it kind of counter the process by default. So there needs to be some sort of an insight by professionals into what are these inquiries are about really, and what are the results of inquiries. Just look at the history of inquiries and see what sort of results it had delivered. And then you'll be shocked to find that not many prosecutions, not many changes. It's just a process to delay everything.
Yeah, I think I read the submissions, the closing submissions by one of the barristers, Imran Khan, who actually gave the numbers of how many inquiries had been had in the United Kingdom and how many recommendations, and it was in the thousands, and how many had actually been adopted. I think it was down to about 0, but don't quote me. I think it was I remember being quite shocked at the time. And also, I'm not sure whether it's a peculiarly British thing, whether other countries even do inquiries. But anyway, they do serve a purpose. We do find out a lot of information. But the question is, if that is information that is available to the police, should the police be charging, going to CPS and asking CPS to consider charging decisions? And whether in the inquiry, actually what's happened is, because everyone has blamed everybody else, does it actually stop the CPS being able to make charging decisions? So those are all really important questions. And I just want to know, has anyone ever talked to you about any of this stuff? Have your lawyers even discussed these issues, asked for your opinion about inquiries and what you've been through for 6.5 years?
It's business for them. They'll never have that discussion because it's a great amount of money for them. They are part of the ecosystem of inquiries. There's a pump of money that largely goes to them, and then goes to the government, and then goes to the boroughs, and then that creates jobs for them. All these, key workers, they're on high salaries. The solicitors will never have that. It's in their benefit for it to stretch for as long as it's in everyone's benefit, other than us.